Hello, I'm Eddie Obeng, and this is How. Daily, I bring you a different way to change your world, a different tool, a different method, a different way of thinking and applying. I'm more interested in getting stuff done, and hence how. If you've been following this set of quick guides, you'll know that there's a whole library of hundreds of different ways of getting stuff done. Some of them about possibility exploration, others about performance enhancement, some are about people engagement. Today, I have a big tool for you, a people engagement tool, a possibility exploration tool. It's called Evolve, Dominate, or Die. It's a way of thinking about your world so that you can take control of it and actually surf the waves around you rather than always being subjective to it. So let's jump on Cube and see what this is about. So welcome to Cube, where, as you know, the sun is always shining. We've got some light cloud cover, as you can see over here. Let's jump in and have a look at Evolve, Dominate, and Die. So the one where I want to start is, if you know any of my work, you'll know that I always work with a very simple idea. And the idea which I work with is the idea of an old versus a new world. And the thought is very simple. If you look at the timeline, if this is now and that's the past, then you'll know from all our stuff about the idea of the world after midnight that the pace of change in the world has accelerated. And at the same time, our ability to learn has stayed quite flat. And I'll often talk about an old world over here and also a new world over on the other side. If you've watched my TED talk, you'll realize I connect this one to what I call laminar or predictive flow. And I connect this one here to turbulent flow. And what's turbulent flow? Turbulent flow is when there's a lot of things happening, not quite chaotic. Well, chaotic in the sense of chaos being a structure, but it's a bit like, the best way to think about it is in evolution. You know how they were these evolutionary bursts, like the Cantabrian period, where you've got hundreds of different new types of animals and so on and so forth, and then they would work their way out and figure out who's going to survive and who's going to get eaten. Well, exactly the same thing happens in our new world. In our new world, really, you end up with three choices. And the choices you can see if you start thinking about what happens in normal evolution. So apparently when the dinosaurs were hanging around, there were huge things, they ate everything, massive, etc. But there were these little critters which looked like rats and mice, okay? And these things were mammals, and they sort of scurried around the feet of the dinosaurs. So the dinosaurs were big, dominant things which crafted the whole world, ate entire trees and things like that. And then there were these little things which were evolving, trying to live in the little niches where the dinosaurs didn't go. Anything which wasn't able to hide in a niche and survive, the dinosaurs would eat. So what you realize quite quickly is in a complex environment, you have three choices. You can either be dominant and wait for the asteroid to hit you, but dominant is good. Like all the large corporates, you're so big, the government even has to listen to you because you don't have to evolve. You just basically throw your weight around, okay? Or you become like the mammals and you evolve and you duck and dive, you innovate, you connect, you collaborate, you work on cube, you understand how to make things work, you laugh, you have fun, etc. But you're little rats running around, okay? Or you die, you just get eaten. Now, some people actually choose to die, so they'll start a startup intentionally so that dinosaurs would eat them, and then they can get a couple of million and buy a yacht and then sleep. So there's three options: evolve, dominate, or die. And these three options are quite useful when you're trying to understand what's happening in your new world. So classically, you'll find that traditionally, if you've been operating for a while, the old world, the way it worked was you're often successful, for example, by doing more of the same. Okay, that was a good strategy, and that worked really well. In a world where it's complex and changing, more of the same isn't going to get you there. Doing more of the same by orders of magnitude, building mega data centers, get you to dominate, and then you don't have to take any notice of them. But it's not more, it's excessively more. Or you want to do different, innovation, using solutions, or you want to create something which is a new technology, I don't know, a robot with 7 fingers or something like that, and then you die. So these are your options. So when you're thinking about it, this particular pet, the way I work it is I used it to avoid people saying, we've never done that in the past, it wouldn't work here, and all those things, because it provides contrast persuasion. So together you brainstorm all the things which traditionally got you or your organization to the point it's at now. And then you say that was in an old world where we could learn fast and the world was changing. And then you say, now the world's changing faster than we can learn. What are the key things we now need to do in order to be able to survive. And you'll come up with a whole list. And again, always collaborative, right? First, before you talk, have a look, cluster them so that everyone gets involved, including the introverts. Now you have an understanding of what you need to do. And once you understand what you need to do to evolve in the new world, if that's your choice, to die, make your business look really attractive with a great growth story, or to dominate, which is not my favorite, because dominate, generally the customer gets forgotten, the citizen gets forgotten, the person gets forgotten, and they get squished. Not my favorite, but they are out there, and we're just waiting for the great big asteroid to come and wipe them out for us. So that's evolve, dominate, or die. You can do it at the personal level as well. So you can do it at a choice level. So this, for example, is one which you can sort of almost use as a template. So here we have a topic: how do we deal with customers? How did we do it? How should we do it if we choose to evolve? How should we do it if we choose to dominate? We're going to collect all their data and use it back on them. You know, developing managers, how did we do it? Sitting with the boss, how should we do it if it's evolved? We'll get them to learn, we'll get them to write scripts for an AI, whatever it is. How would we do it if it's dominate? We'll just pay a lot of money and fire them if they don't do it. So it helps you figure out exactly what you need to do. On a personal level as well, you might decide that you need to change. So you might go, well, I've been successful this far. And the way I did it was by listening to my boss, being creative, working hard. I don't know what it is, but now I'm in the new world. I will be successful by making good connections with networks, learning how to collaborate, figuring out how I'm going to extend beyond just me to other people. I don't know, but you need to have that thing and always write it down. Work in sentences. It makes the most sense. For some of you with organizations, you might have a strategy, which is evolve, dominate, or die. You might need to think about whether it makes money, and you might need to think about the risk impact as well. So for this, I have a third pet. But the real one you want to focus on is just the standard contrast persuasion in this world of turmoil and change. And if you can do that, it'll stop people arguing with you because they'll see why they have to change. Because normally when you say to people change, what they hear is you're doing it all wrong. You've done it all wrong all your life. You're an idiot. But if you explain the world has changed and therefore we grow into the world, you get much less resistance. So I've been Eddie Obeng. That's evolve, dominate, or die. Really critical cornerstone for driving change in your organization, for driving a successful future. There is a quick guide. There's also the newsletter you can subscribe to. And good luck. And I look forward to seeing you hopefully evolve, and let's create something amazing together. Thank you.